Ever wondered if identically dressed twins chose to dress that way? Did their parents foist it upon them, and would they continue to dress identically when they grew up? You're most likely aware that most so-called identical twins usually have a truly older and younger sibling, despite there only being minutes between them, and their personalities can be quite different. Jeremy Irons and Jeremy Irons will show us how the Mantle brothers' wardrobes define each of them and express their individuality even within the twin relationship. They'll show us how clothes define the man, and there will be an interesting style breakdown in the movie to challenge our powers of observation and the inventiveness of the director and clothing designer to illustrate their differences. Dead Ringers is the story of identical twin gynecologists working in Toronto and Canada. But did you know it was based on a true story? Though there is plenty of artistic license in the telling, as it is directed by David Cronenberg. Hi, I'm Michael and welcome to my channel for the love of suits. If you're new here, my mission is to find inspiration on how to dress well from the best dressed men on the screen. I'll break down what they're wearing, how they put it together, and why people admire them so much. And more importantly, to help you dress like the man you want to be. So please like and subscribe, it really helps my channel. Older brother Elliot is wearing very typical college clothes from those days, as he receives an award while graduating from college. As you can tell from the crowd, that even young trendy men wore what today would be called semi-formal or smart casual. Their standard is a sports coat and trousers with either a shirt or sweater underneath. Tweed is a fascinating fabric world all to itself. It hails from Scotland and Ireland, and different houses have copyrights on different patterns and blends of coloured wool. You'll see a wide range of tweed from different houses that will protect their brands with pride. And lawyers. Donegal, Harris, McCann and Holland & Sherry are some of the famous names that produce tweed. Tweed is a warm yarn spun from multiple coloured threads inspired by the countryside surrounding the area that produces the individual weaves from different houses. But it is also an open weave, so subject to windy days. His twin, Beverly, having skipped the event, is dressed in a more casual sweater and shirt. The shirt is an interesting brown check covered by a beige V-neck sweater. You don't see V-necks much these days. I think it's an excellent option, especially when wearing a collared shirt, as it allows more space for the shirt to breathe. Elliot, wearing a tux for a fundraising event, decided to reroute to spend time with the famous actress. And despite having reviewed so many black tie events in movies for this channel, this is the first time I have the honour of seeing a wing collar shirt. They were very popular in the 80s. I remember wearing one to a college event, and this movie was released in 1988. It was quite the trend back then. But Elliot is actually wearing it wrong. If you follow the strict rules of black tie, care to guess why? It's quite obvious if you look at the neck of the shirt collar. It's quite unattractive. Yes, the wingtip shirt is actually for white tie events, so you shouldn't see the black band of the bow tie interrupting the lines. And the other Jeremy Irons, Beverly, is wearing a simple sweater without a shirt beneath, showing off by proving he looks good in anything, even simple knitwear. The mottled effect is most likely a Donegal tweed style sweater. The costumes are designed by the director David Cronenberg's sister Denise, who was only her second job as a professional costume designer, her first being The Fly. And I remember Jeff Goldblum's wardrobe, full of the same suit from that movie quite clearly. Good knitwear is not hard to come by. Unlike other types of clothing, you can get quality sweaters for very reasonable prices. Ralph Lauren is a good place to start because they have stores everywhere and a very wide range of knitwear. But they are in a category that I would describe as overpriced. They make excellent quality pieces, well worth about half of what they charge. So if you see something you like in a sale, grab it. They often use cotton where wool would be a better choice, but cotton is fine where your climate is not too severe. But as you approach 100% wool, their price gets very steep. If you want high quality but don't want to break the bank, I would recommend the heritage Scottish brand Colhays, which produces high quality wool and cashmere knitwear for quite reasonable prices that will last you for years. However, if you are on a budget, Uniqlo produce a cut-rate cashmere. I can't buy anything there as the sleeves are always too short for me, but they make good basics for very cheap prices. I reviewed the spectacular black wool overcoat Jeremy Irons wore in the movie Damage recently. Check it out here. This is another excellent piece of outerwear, a 3/4 length tan trench coat. As its name and epaulette suggest, it is a military-inspired coat from the trenches and popularised in the First World War. It was designed by the man who gave his name to the other famous raincoat, the Macintosh or Mac. No surprise that he hails from Scotland. It's a much bulkier affair than the raincoat and is not worn too tightly to allow for layering underneath. The collar is high and can also be popped or worn up for extra protection against the rain and wind. It has an overlying piece of fabric in the form of a flap on the front and the back to provide extra protection against the rain. And of course a belt for when the wind really picks up. I do recommend spending money on outerwear. For much of the year, that's all people are going to see you are wearing. It will need to take a beating in bad weather and still look good. And the long flowing nature of most coats will enhance your look when you're walking. And you never really need to match your daily wear underneath. So they should, in theory, work with your entire wardrobe. But here Jeremy's wearing earth tones in greens and browns to ensure a good match should it be worn open. The famous Burberry trench coat is very expensive, but you can get them in Ralph Lauren or even Marks & Spencer's and other stores for reasonable prices. They're not too hard to come by. But as you can see, wearing greys and blues works just as well. The tan trench coat is a classic and easy to wear. I think men can wear pink, but when it's a small element of their style. You can get away with a shirt, wearing a jacket and a tie, or the tie itself or a pocket square. But I think this sweater is a bit too much. Do you agree? I'd love to hear from some of our women viewers on this one. I suspect this suit is from Armani, though I can find no mention of it. It's a classic herringbone pattern, but the structure labels it as the iconic late 80s Armani suit, which is why you should never buy too heavily into trends, even in suiting. The jacket is too long and the gorge is too low. The gorge is where the lapel has an indent, whether it be a peak or a notched lapel. Compare it to today's suits, and you will see how much it has slipped down the lapel, almost comical. The trousers are heavily pleated. Patch pockets on the jacket underscore the intention to make the suit a casual item. The reimagining of the key elements of the suit was considered revolutionary at the time and made Armani famous. I don't hate it, and it is interesting, but more of a curiosity and a study for fashion school than anything else. Also, it is so dated you could not get away wearing it today. Jeremy, it's Richard Gere. He wants his suit back. The peaked lapel on the suit makes the lower gorge of the 80s suit even more apparent, and very interesting to compare them with the jackets of today. Elliot has on a dark red or burgundy pinstripe shirt and patterned necktie, looking smart and businesslike. And Beverly is more relaxed looking in a thick wool sports coat that almost looks like a knit material, and a shirt, tie and sweater combo underneath. Though I think the texture of the jacket and sweater are too similar and it looks a bit odd. Here we have the style breakdown I mentioned in the introduction. Claire, the female protagonist, comes face to face with the brothers for the first time, having only recently found out that the mantle she was dating had an identical twin. Elliot, who I've always taken as the older Jeremy Irons, is dressed in a navy two-piece suit with a pinstripe shirt and a red dotted necktie. The younger Jeremy Irons is wearing a grey textured two-piece suit with a light blue shirt and navy tie. I'm not going to make any other comments on this scene. Well, I actually wrote it already, but then deleted it. I'd much rather hear your opinions on this one. Whose suit do you prefer, and what do you think it says about each of the character of the men wearing them? Thank you for watching to the end. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next Wednesday with a new video.